Hey slots enthusiasts, did you know teamwork is the best approach to winning on progressive slot machines? But how? That's coming up. Hi, my name is John Friedel. Welcome to Professor Slots, a channel that's all about mastering casino slots so you can win your way to success. If you've ever walked into a casino, looked around, and wondered what's going on with slots and more, I can help. Progressive slot machines occupy up to 30% of the slot machines in a casino, if not more. Let's talk about how these machines are set up, then how to win their progressive jackpots. After someone wins its progressive jackpot, the machine resets to a lower non-zero jackpot. As it's played, jackpots progressively grow by a small fraction of each bet. Most progressive slot machines have a maximum progressive jackpot amount they cannot exceed. Only massively large, life-changing progressive jackpot slot machines do not have a maximum jackpot amount. Once reset, the machine randomly chooses the size of the next winning progressive jackpot from within these limits. When an individual player's bet increases the displayed progressive jackpot shown to that winning jackpot size, the player wins the progressive jackpot. This process then begins anew with the jackpot reset. The physical extent of a network of slot machines with a shared progressive jackpot can vary widely, including 1. Standalone, a single slot machine growing its progressive jackpot only, not networked to any other slot machines, with the lowest maximum jackpot amount relative to networked progressive slot machines. 2. In-house, slot machines having the same slot machine game theme within the casino and substantial, if not life-changing, maximum jackpots. 3. In-chain, slot machines with the same slot machine game theme within all gaming venues owned by the same casino operator within states having gaming regulations that allow this. And 4. Wide area, slot machines owned independently from the casinos they are located within having a massively large, life-changing jackpot. Each casino gets a percentage of slot machine revenue and has a payout return which is lowest of all other progressive slot machines due to their relatively high setup and administrative costs. There are effectively two approaches to winning on progressive slot machines. 1. Treat it like a non-progressive slot machine and try to win its smaller, non-progressive jackpots. Or 2. Deliberately try to win its progressive jackpot. If taking the first approach, use my other winning slot strategies. However, be aware having and maintaining networked slot machines includes an administrative cost passed down to players of these machines. You can see this for yourself in the June 2020 return statistics from Mississippi. See the link in the description, which has return statistics both by slot machine denomination as well as whether they are progressive. All progressive versions have significantly lower odds of winning. I expect this trend also occurs in states without detailed return statistics. This trend is most grievously seen with multi-million-dollar progressive jackpot megabucks slot machines in Las Vegas, where Nevada's return statistics consistently show it has the lowest payout of all. On the other hand, other months show progressive versions of slot machine denominations in Mississippi to have had better odds by 1% to 2% rather than worse odds. Winning progressive slot machine jackpots is simple, but neither quick nor relatively easy. In general, winning the maximum jackpot in any slot machine is a truly rare event. Yes, I did it once, 15 years ago. But unless a specific strategy is being employed, slots enthusiasts should more or less ignore this possibility as nothing other than a once-in-a-lifetime event. But the key here is, unless a specific strategy is being employed. Here's how to win the progressive jackpot on a progressive slot machine. Play it as it approaches the maximum progressive jackpot allowed, when it must pay out. This not entirely easy aspect of this winning strategy is that doing this takes a lot of patience. Why? Because you need to figure out that set maximum limit, which means watching others win that progressive jackpot a bunch of times. The smaller the network, the smaller the progressive jackpot, and the easier it is to figure out its maximum. However, your payout will be smaller, yet that payout comes sooner and is more likely. The larger the network, the bigger the progressive jackpot, the longer you'll need to observe to learn the maximum jackpot, and everyone playing at the same time, which can be a lot of people, has an equal chance. How much do they never go under? How much do they never seem to go over? Based on observations at my local casino, a standalone progressive quarter machine might reset to $1,000 and have its maximum at $1,200. What is it for others? Well, that's what we need to learn. Again, this is the not entirely easy part. How do you proceed? First, pick a collection of progressive slot machines you pass by regularly. You're looking for different networks of progressive slot machines on which you can afford to eventually make maximum bets. Every time you pass by, note the size of its progressive jackpots. If the jackpot has decreased, someone won, so your last noted jackpot size was a possible maximum. As time goes by and you see it again later, keep noting the jackpot size. When the jackpot next decreases, compare your last noted jackpot to your temporary maximum from before to see if you have a new maximum. Do this as many as half a dozen times. Be aware your observations could take 6 months to accomplish. This is where patience is key. However, doing this at the same time for most progressive slot machine networks in a single casino is highly efficient. Why? Because at the end of the 6 or so months, you'll have a good idea of the maximum jackpot for every one of them. The second step is to start playing progressive slot machines, getting close to the maximum jackpot you've noted. Remember, this winning strategy works because sometimes the randomly chosen winning jackpot amount is close to the maximum must win by amount. When it is, you've improved your odds of winning. One way to optimize winning on progressive slot machines is to put together a team. You and another could double your observations if you go to a casino at different times. Sharing observations can reduce the 6 months previously mentioned to perhaps half that time. Further, when the time comes to play those machines, you can both play at the same time to improve the odds one of you will win the progressive jackpot, rather than that second seat taken by an unknown slots enthusiast also playing that same network. Playing non-standalone progressive slot machines requires a team of 2 or more. The larger the network, the larger the team needed to share the cost and substitute for other players on the network. Without a team and therefore not splitting any jackpots won, standalone progressive slot machines have the best odds of winning for individual slots enthusiasts. Yes, the jackpots are smaller, but once you learn the maximum, your wins will occur more often. The advantages and disadvantages to watch out for are mostly logistics. First, your team should be people you trust, and with whom you have at least a verbal agreement. For instance, who is going to pay the taxes on the jackpot, assuming it's over $1,200? In other words, whose name will be on the W-2G IRS tax form? Maybe your player's card is used by the whole team? Or maybe the card of the person accepting any W-2G? These details may seem trivial, but are they trivial for multi-million-dollar jackpots? Second, consider paying a fixed amount to a group of people to sit and not play the other machines in the network while you play to win. If you don't win the progressive, they still get paid. But if you do win it, they don't get a share. Interesting, yes? But one advantage is that a single individual, you, would get the player's club points. However, the casino may get suspicious and object to idle players. That's a risk. Third, the highest value progressive jackpots are on the largest networks. Winning a multi-million-dollar progressive jackpot needs a large team at several casinos, probably across several states, as well as managing any investors funding the venture. I'll see you next time. Comment below if you play progressive slot machines. Stick around for more of my winning strategies. Have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.